Now, in this video, we are going to discuss what are the details that you should input in your deck logbook and other cargo logbook or any necessary logbook on board your ship. Now, you may notice here that records which should be maintained aboard bulk carriers, as you can see here. However, some details here could also be applied in other vessels. Regardless if you are in a container, tanker, survey, passenger, it doesn't matter. Okay, some details here could also be applied on other ships, not just bulk carriers. Okay, so let's get started. Now, the details here are for bulk carriers. So if you're going on board a bulk carrier vessel, well, today is your lucky day. Okay, but if you are in a your next contract would be in a tanker, okay, some details here have to be removed and you have to apply common sense. Okay, say for instance, you have to input in your deck logbook, okay, routine navigational weather, sea state, and ship's performance data. Ship's performance data is shown in your bridge, okay, is shown in your screen, let's say ECDIS or radar. Routine navigational, okay, you have to input all of the details happening if, let's say, it's noteworthy. Maybe pilot on board or pilot disembarked. Or maybe out of nowhere, the pilot station contacted you and say, hey, can we have a helicopter search and rescue drill with you? Sometimes it happens. Say, for instance, in the Strait of Gibraltar, it usually happens. Okay, that's only an example. The weather, you could use the Beaufort scale, okay, or physical observation. Is the ship rolling? Is the ship pitching? Depends. Okay, next is details of heaving to or action taken to avoid a tropical storm. You have to alter course or maybe alter the passage plan. It depends on the situation. Dew point readings, okay, dew point readings of cargo spaces. Okay, you have to understand that dew point readings of cargo spaces, and on deck you have to understand if you are in a bulk carrier, you have to avoid moisture as much as possible. Okay, if you're carrying iron ore, okay, or let's say steel pipes, that's fine. Okay, but if you're carrying cement or let's say grains, okay, those are cargoes that you don't want to liquefy. Okay, now obviously, these things are not necessarily applicable for, let's say, container. Okay, you just have to apply common sense here. Okay, next is ventilation of holds, times of starting and stopping, reason for stopping, ventilators used. Anong type of ventilation? Direction of ventilation, speed of fans, and hygrometer readings. Okay? Next is water, rainfall, and spray over decks or hatches, if that occurs. Hold and hatch cover inspections, dates, times, names of person making inspection. Is it done by the cargo surveyor or by the port authorities, or is it done by the ship's personnel? Okay, nature of inspection and findings. Also, by the way, you could input this in your cargo logbook. Okay, not just deck logbook. Okay. Next is temperatures and methane and O2 meter readings of cargo or pH of bilge water in case. Pumping of bilge water, time, tonnage, and origin. Sometimes, shipping companies and charterers would require when was the last time you pumped out your bilge water. Okay, sometimes. Okay. Soundings next. Soundings, full set daily, giving actual soundings, not empty. Okay? Testing of cargo care systems such as hold, bilge pumping system, hold ventilation fans, testing of hatch cover, water tightness. Okay? Inspection and tightening of lashings on cargo. In case you are a log bulk type of vessel, you have to check if the lashings are tight. If you are in a container, again, very obvious, you have to check if the lashings are correct, are tight. Changing of ship's ballast to comply with pollution regulations or for purpose of draft and trim. Okay, now there are areas as per the MARPO, let's say ECA or SECA area, okay, sulfur emission controlled area. Let's say if you are traveling in US territorial waters, they have a tighter ECA and SECA patrol in there. So there are times that you have to change fuel 12 hours before you arrive at the, let's say, the ECA area or SECA area. You need to prepare everything. Okay, must be the changeover of fuel from, let's say, from diesel oil. Okay, and then you have changed to, let's say, gas oil, for example, only. Okay, then you would navigate in the SECA area and you would look at your smokestack and there's no black smoke coming out. Okay, next, Details of any in-transit fumigation in case, okay? Now, fumigation is only applicable for, let's just say, bulk carriers, okay? Fumigation. Next is following deck log or cargo log entry. So this is mixed, okay? Next is the surveys undertaken with times, result, and identity of surveyor. Now, if you are the gangway watchman, okay, you could check their IDs and their intentions. Okay, who is this guy coming on board the ship? They presented their ID. We are cargo surveyors and we are here to check the, the cargo hold, if it's wet or if it has moisture, or maybe, let's see, okay, we want to check what's the condition of the hold and everything here on board the ship. Okay, protest made by the ship and to the ship. Does the ship need to pay demurrage? Okay, or demoraje in Tagalog? Does the ship, did the ship file some kind of note of protest? Okay, the charterer said on January 17, okay, we will start cargo operations. There's no rain, okay, there are no incidents, but cargo operations is not starting yet. Okay, the ship could issue a letter of protest to the charterers. Okay, and to some extent the charterers could pay a fine or penalty. Okay, next is details of any fumigation undertaken. Okay, we have read that one. Starts, stoppages, and completions of cargo work. Okay, let's say the final cleaning inside the cargo hold has been done. Okay, let's say, the last of the stevedores already cleaned the remnants of the cargo. Or maybe, let's just say, the last bulldozer, okay, has been carried out already. Okay, transfers of cargo handling equipment, same. Tanks ballasted and deballasted. Ballast valves opened and shut. Okay, now, if you are the guy, okay, way back in the day, okay, I used to coordinate with Chief Mate regarding this matter, ballasting and deballasting during cargo operation. Okay, I was inside the ship's office and I was asking questions a lot. Okay, because all I see in the ship's office is a bunch of buttons. Okay, why did you press this button? Because we need to pump out on the, let's say, ballast tank of the port side, or wing ballast tank, okay, number 3 port side. Okay, so if I press this button, it will discharge water. Okay, now after it achieves 0, okay, 0, I have to go out there. I was a deck cadet at the time. I would go out there in the deck and then sound from the sounding pipe. Okay, then you have to check, you have to make sure that, okay, the reading is 0. Okay, inside the ship's office, okay, the only thing that they can see is via sensor. Okay, so sometimes the readings are not accurate. So from their screen, okay, they could see, it's 0.00 meters. Okay, but when I sounded from the sounding pipe, okay, you may notice 0.052. Okay, 0.052. So there are still remnants, so they have to continuously pump out. Okay, or maybe the ship needs to pitch a little bit, or roll, or pump out a little more, or adjust. Okay, so sometimes the readings from the screen via the sensor will not be accurate with the actual sounding. When you go out there. Okay, so you have to also input that one. Now it's up to you if if it's okay with 0.052. Okay, but as a precaution, we want it to be totally 0. Okay, next is soundings obtained. Okay, we discussed that one. Cargo tonnages calculated or advised. Again, I was also with Chief Mate regarding this matter. We were monitoring via the load indicator, via the stevedores and the crane operators. Okay, we were handling, we were managing, we were computing at the same time. Although technically that cargo loading plan, okay, has already been computed, but still we need to monitor. Okay, is this accurate? And then we will have draft readings or draft survey after we, let's say, after our watch. Okay, draft readings again at completion of each pour during the loading and at least twice daily during discharge. Okay, very obvious. Details of shifting ship, again, if you have shifted from berth letter A to berth letter C, for example. Times of bunkering and quantities taken. Weather observations. Next is cargo documents. Okay, copies of all cargo documents issued or received, very obvious. Authorization to charterers or their agents to sign BLs. Okay, trim stability and stress calculations, values used in calculations, results obtained, full details of departure condition, copy of each cargo operations control form issued, ship's own draft survey calculations and constant statistic, draft survey calculations by independent surveyors and results obtained. Now, sometimes draft surveyors and us on board the ship will have slight difference with our calculation. Let's say my final drafts, okay, even keel, okay, my final drafts even keel is, let's say, 10.45 meters. For example only, 10.45 meters. On the draft surveyor, his calculations was, let's say, 10.469. Okay, almost 10.47. Okay, there are slight differences. Sometimes it happens. Okay, so we have to redo the calculations until we realize, oh, okay. We have to change, okay, some details in our load indicator. Okay, sometimes we have a correction of plus 0.001, plus 0.002 within our trim and stability loading computer. Sometimes it happens. Okay, so you have to check on board the ship. Okay, whatever, loading or cargo computation device that you use. Okay, next up is damage records. When, where, and how damage to ship or cargo occurred. Okay, if your ship was damaged, okay, which it happened to us as well before, okay, one of the, let's say, the grabs of the ship, if I remember correctly, it was India. Okay, if I remember correctly, we were in India at the time, and one of the grabs, okay, hit the hopper side, also the Australian ladder side. It bended, okay, it bended the metals, okay, at the time, and the charterer was forced to pay a penalty. Okay, we issued a letter of protest on the charterer. Okay, the shipping company knew about it, and then we filed a letter of protest, submitted it to the charterer, and they paid the fine. Okay, they apologized, and then we have done our business very well. Okay, damage records. Okay, detailed description of damage sustained. Very obvious. Next is cargo book. Okay, principal details of each cargo carried with notes. Very obvious. Voyage records, voyage abstracts, any detail that you could, in relation to your voyage. Okay, did you adjust the clock? Okay, did you, daylight savings times, or maybe did you update the ECDIS, or did you, let's just say, test your GMDSS equipment. Any noteworthy details, you must input it in your deck logbook. Even though some seafarers, they find it, time consuming. No. If you are a new seafarer, always input details. Okay, always input details. Okay. Proforma lay day statement if required by owner. Proforma, okay, let's say proforma means, okay, in relation to, okay, lay day, okay, or let's say in information form. Okay, proforma is Latin eh. Okay, lay day means, okay, when is the loading or discharging time would occur. Okay, and all of the details required in connection for the lay day. Okay, if required by owner, sometimes, owner doesn't require because they already know. Okay, they only talk via the satellite phone. Okay, they don't actually log it in their logbooks. There were incidents at the time during my cadetship days. Okay, the captain, our captain before, was not putting the proforma lay day statement, okay, inside our deck logbook. Okay, they were just communicating with the charterer and the charterer and the ship owner, okay, via satellite phone. Okay, they never actually, wrote it. Okay, it's only a verbal agreement. Okay, so next time if you're a seafarer, okay, always, even though the detail looks small, okay, always write it in your, let's say, small notebook. Okay, even though people might laugh at you or get mad at you, why are you always writing this detail? You never know. Okay, proforma lay day statement if required by owner. So again, this is just a quick sample or quick, discussion regarding what are the details that you should be putting inside your deck logbook entries if you are on board bulk carriers. Now, there are details here that are not applicable for, let's say, container or tanker ships. Okay, but you get the gist, you get the picture. Now, some details here are applicable for you, like routine navigational, weather, sea state, and ship's performance data. This is only an example. If you are about to board a bulk carrier, this is your lucky video. Okay, so I'm ending my video here. Thank you for watching my video. Hope you guys learned something new. Be happy, be healthy, and most importantly, to God be all the glory. Keep safe. Take good care.